Hey everybody, who's here and ready to talk about some residential real estate for 2021? Stay tuned for later on in the show. We're going to give some tips and tricks and also go over some latest trends. Welcome to the Realty, my weekly segment where I spill the tea on all things real estate. And today I'm here with Steve from More Options Realty. So thank you so much for being on the show today, Steve.
Thanks for having me. I enjoy watching your show and everything you're doing for real estate in the Valley. So
yeah, no, this is great. Everyone knows that we usually start at 12. But we had some technical difficulties, of course. Nothing can ever go away, but we got past that and we're good to go. And we're going to have a great conversation today. So
yeah, absolutely.
And, before we get into the show, I just want to give a huge shout out to Ellie Platt at Platt Insurance. All you guys know, for all of your insurance needs, whether it be personal, commercial, life, or financial, Ellie Platt has you covered. So shout out. Thanks, Ellie. Do you know Ellie at all, Steve?
I don't. I saw the segment with her that you just did recently. So
yeah, last week. Yeah, it was pretty good. And, we covered some interesting topics, and she's so knowledgeable, and I'm just, so proud and honored to have her partner with us and, really support this segment. So
yeah, great.
And I asked Ellie last week, and I'm going to ask you because it's still January and I feel like it still applies. Do you have any New Year's resolutions, professionally, or that, you're going to go in with for 2021?
Sure. So, I would say this year professionally, last year was really my first full year in real estate sales. Okay. This year, I'm looking to obviously improve upon my numbers from last year, which I was very proud of.
Right.
So I have some goals there, but also just gain knowledge in general. Maybe get some more accreditations, whether it be with listings or sell it or buyers. So just improve myself overall in my knowledge, so I could help my clients, serve them even more. So yeah.
And the real estate career path actually does require you to do some continuing education. Is that correct?
Yeah. So you have to have so many hours of continuing ed every 3 years, I believe it is. And then within your first year, which, like I said, I just kind of wrapped up, you also have to go back and do some post-licensing courses and those sorts of things. So, it's nice. It keeps you up on top of things and helps you grow in your profession. So.
No, yeah, definitely. And I know that you had mentioned, you're fairly new in the real estate game. Yeah. And I think it's important to note that, there's no direct path to real estate. A lot of my previous people that I have had on the show just came from so many different, career backgrounds. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started with, real estate and, what specifically brought you to More Options?
Sure. So, I worked in my family business for a while with my dad and my brother, and my dad retired and we sold the business, and my brother and I owned several rentals, and I was kind of doing the fix and flips and those sorts of things. So I was kind of in the real estate business already, and my good friend Jason Neapolitan over at More Options said, "Hey, you're already doing this. It makes sense that you get your license." Yeah. There's no harm in it. It's obviously going to add value to what you're doing, and then, you'll be able to help other people. So I said, what the heck, I'll do it. So I probably got licensed for 2019 in June. So okay. I did that, and luckily I was able to start with Jason and Bill Liptak and Chucky Rosell over at More Options, and have really taken off since then. Their leadership and everything they've helped me with, whether it's leads or just general knowledge and stuff like that, it's been a breath of fresh air, and I've really enjoyed working with those guys.
No, yeah, great. And that's such a unique origin story. Everyone has their own, sure. And specifically More Options Realty. Just from my conversation with Jason as well, they do a really great job at onboarding new agents and people that want to get to that first step in their real estate career. So that's great that you're able to do that, and obviously you're successful, and kudos to you for doing that as well. And just from what you've been seeing, during your first year, could you tell us maybe a little bit about the current state of the residential real estate market? Just your overall sense of what you've been seeing out there in the Valley.
Sure. So I've been lucky enough my first year has been a relatively hot market in the Valley. So that was a nice thing to start with. I was a little unsure, obviously, with the pandemic, how it was going to play out. But honestly, 2020, the market was hot. It was very good for both buyers and sellers in the Valley, and then really, I think, across the country. So that was nice. Recently, obviously, there's been a bit of a slowdown with the holidays and those sorts of things, but expect it to pick back up. Right now, I would say there is not a lot of inventory on the market. There's not a lot of sellers, a lot of listers out on the market. So, it would be a time if you are thinking about listing, if you are thinking about selling, now would be a time to probably, get out there, test the waters. You can maximize, your return on your house because there's not a lot of competition out there in terms of listings, but buyers are out there, they're looking. So.
Right. And I feel like a lot of times people would rather wait until the spring, since I feel like and just from, having other people on the show, that they think that that's the best time for selling, when in reality, is that the case? Or
I mean, certainly in the spring and summer, you're going to get a lot more buyers out there. But what I've had conversations with people and what I've seen is people that are looking to buy and they're out there in the winter, they're serious buyers. If you're out there trucking around in the snow and the bad weather, you're looking to buy. You're pre-approved. You're ready. You're serious.
No, exactly. Yeah. Because normally in the winter, people aren't motivated to do anything, especially after work. It's too cold. I don't want to go anywhere. And so that's how you know when someone is out there going to open houses and going on listings after the sun goes down, especially. That they're really dedicated and they want to find their home. So. Right.
Yeah, there's certainly challenges with listing in the winter, like you said, that the sun goes down early and those things. But you are going to get a lot of serious buyers. You're not going to get people just passing time going through open houses and those sorts of things.
Right.
So, there's pros and cons to it.
So with these people that are out looking for their, future home, these home buyers, what are some trends that you're seeing with them? Specifically, any, amenities that people are, wanting, whereas other homes may not have it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think last year there was a huge push, at least with buyers I worked with, for, with the pandemic, people really, they were home a lot. So they really started focusing on, well, what do I really want in a home? What's important to me? Obviously, things like home office became important. People working from home, so to have a space to work that's maybe separated from the kids and the dog and those sorts of things, to have a nice area became important. But also, a space like a finished basement where you're going to be able to hang out and relax, or the kids can go and hang out with their friends and play and those sorts of things. Obviously, big kitchens and those kind of gathering areas are always important, but I think it just heightened importance during the pandemic because people really were stuck in their houses and realized the value of those things. So
right, and even specifically too, with the way that the workplace is changing, people are not necessarily needing to be in the office a full 8 hours and have that flexibility now with COVID. They're realizing, wow, I can do my job anywhere. Are you seeing a lot of people either coming into the Valley because of that or leaving the Valley because of that?
Last year I was actually pleasantly surprised by how many buyers I worked with that were out of town. I worked with several that were across the border in PA. Actually had somebody move back from Florida. So I think in the Valley, our market is relatively priced decently compared to a lot of other areas.
Right.
And I think that draws people here. You can get a beautiful home and beautiful neighborhoods and areas in Youngstown for a relatively good price compared to the larger cities and suburbs. So I do think last year we saw some of that.
What are some major red flags for buyers that you think that they need to be aware of when they are purchasing, their future home?
Right. So as far as major red flags, I like to look at the big ticket items in a house, foundation, HVAC, furnace, AC, roof, windows, those things that are going to be huge expenses. I'm sure I'm not an inspector, so I obviously would always recommend, to a buyer to get an inspector. But those are things that I think when people go into a house, sometimes, especially first-time home buyers, they're so excited about getting a house and a dream house that maybe they overlook those things, and they don't realize, hey, this furnace is 25 years old and it's going to last a year, and then I got to spend $7-8 grand to get a new furnace and AC. Right. So things like that are really stuff that I like to look for and keep an eye on, and not that they're deal breakers, but I think you have to consider them in your offer. And when you offer, add all that stuff in, and what your offer is going to be, it's going to be. But certainly those big ticket items are things that I think a lot of time first-time home buyers don't consider. So.
Right. Yeah. And especially, the home inspection also helps out in, figuring out those maybe hidden problems like wiring, something that you might not see like directly right off the bat. So. Right.
And I think, for me, I'm not a super handy person. I didn't grow up like that. So I've gained a lot of value from going on actual home inspections. I try to go on all of them. And I gain knowledge there. I think that's such a valuable thing to do as a realtor to expand your knowledge base, and then able to, obviously assist your clients more. So I would definitely recommend a home inspection, even if you're a person who is handy and has a general knowledge of those things. For a couple $100, the peace of mind, I think, goes a long way. So yeah.
And then for the home inspection, when you're sitting down with the buyer or seller and you're trying to negotiate terms, is there any does the seller always or does the buyer always pay for the home inspection, or is there any way that you can negotiate that into the?
It's a negotiation, so most things are able to be negotiated, but typically that's something the buyer pays for. You have a home inspection and there you find major issues, a major defect, you can go back then and negotiate those things. Obviously, you're not going to negotiate, that there's a little chip paint or this or that, but major things you can. Yeah.
And then I have one more question for you. And I've just been, talking with different people in the industry. I wanted to see, what is the strangest thing that you've ever seen on a listing appointment?
So I've seen, buying rentals and fix and flips. I've seen a lot of just trashed houses and crazy things like that. So I've seen that. Probably the weirdest in a normal house that wasn't trash. Yeah. There was a restroom, a bathroom, a half bath just in the family room, like the toilet. That was very odd. So that was weird. I went into a basement one time and, basically half of one of the walls was missing, which wasn't really mentioned at all. So, and it was a pretty normal, nice house otherwise. Yeah. So, those would be two of the tops. And then just your general trashed houses when you go into those types of houses you're looking to flip and stuff like that.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Sometimes you just will never know what you'll see in those types of houses.
Yeah. And you try not to judge. You don't know what, that half bath there, maybe it was a person who was disabled and they put it in there to, so you never know what the genesis of it, right? But you see it 50 years later and you're like, what the heck was that? So, it's definitely interesting. Keeps you on your feet. And so,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's, I guess that's the name of the game, I guess. So just be prepared if you're an agent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You'll see some crazy stuff. That's for sure. So.
Well, is there anything else that you want to share with our audience today before we close the show?
No, I mean, just thanks for having me on. Obviously, if you're looking to, buy or sell, look me up, look more options up. We have a lot to offer. Real estate agents out there, if you're looking for a change or maybe you're just starting out, look more options up. they've really helped start my career off in the right direction. And, they've made it easy. So I don't have to worry about leads. I don't have to worry about those things. All I have to worry about is my clients and helping them and making sure they find the right home for them. Which, takes the load off your shoulders when you can focus on the clients, which is what it's really about. So.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you so much for being on the show today too and giving our audience some insights. And, anyone that wants to look Steve up, I will link up his, More Options Realty page below. And yeah, I guess we're good to go. And like I said, if anyone looking for, different change, call Steve and More Options.
Thanks, Abby.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell for notifications. And also make sure to connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. For all of your business news, visit businessjournaldaily.com. For all of your arts and entertainment news, go to afterhoursyoungstown.com.